Why isn't he showing?
We're sacrificed.
Now they see you as you are.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We just got done watching episode 7. Some of us are a little hyped. Let's go around real quick the room here and just let's just kind of kick it off, and we'll just do high level what we thought about the episode, and then we're just gonna break it down for you guys. So, Ant, we'll start with you. What do you think about this episode?
Oh, I'm on the spot. I hate it. No, I loved it. I think everything was great. I think everything about this episode was great. This is what we needed, a good Game of Thrones right. I felt more tension. Why you gonna go to Jorge when I'm talking?
Yeah, I know. I mean,
that's disrespectful. Disrespectful. Hey, I just heard somebody saying Black Lives Matter. We see how to do it on this show. All right, look. I thought this was the tension. I felt more tension in a one-room scene in this episode than I felt for most of TV in the last year, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and this is what happens when you have the writer actually influencing these shows, unlike some season 8s we won't mention.
Ooh, and with that alone, we will jump over to Keaton. What did you think about this episode, man?
I've been this the messiness that I've been waiting for. Like the whole time we've been building up this royal Jerry Springer episode, and this was when you hear the bell ring and Steve had to run out and tackle people. Like this is the mess that I have been waiting for, but like I can't wait to watch that episode again, because that was that felt like Game of Thrones right there.
Yeah.
Man.
No, that's good. How about you, Jeremiah?
Black Lives Matter. Man, listen.
This dude.
Listen. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. What? First of all, we had a Steve Wilkos, chairs were thrown, eyes were slashed. We lost a sister, but the brothers. I was just so tense. I'm sitting up here like these folks we hear trying to marry, uncles and cousins and all this stuff, and I'm just sitting here like, man, why are you folks, and they're stealing our dragons. They're burning our black women, and they're stealing our dragons.
Dragons don't got owners; they only got riders. Pip, it's all right. It's all right.
They're stealing our damn dragons.
You can't be mad. Her dragon went to him. I heard you. It's just that's the game. That's the game.
Stealing
I
our
will
damn
say
dragons.
that was a line in there. He basically said he didn't. They could have taken that dragon at any point in time. He took it.
They could have tried.
They
tried to take that dragon, and
he definitely took that opportunity. So, speaking of that, I guess, what did you guys think of, kind of like this first part of this episode with the whole funeral? Because I thought there was a lot going on there. And at first I thought it was a little slow, but then, what were your guys' thoughts on that funeral and how it all went down?
I have been to funerals like that where the family don't like each other, but somebody in the family died. Y'all all gotta be there. And it's these awkward moments of this, and somebody will get drunk and be inappropriate during and secrets gonna come out. People gonna yell something. You gonna find out who's sleeping with who stole what money, who got another family on this side of town, like all that stuff. We have all known these kind of messy funerals, weddings, anything like that. So I'm here for it.
Well, that's what's crazy about it too, though, because like I'll get into it. Everybody ain't going yet.
No, you can go, man. You can go, Keaton. Go for it.
That's just the thing. Like I feel like we've all seen situations like this before. It's like, oh, girl, that ain't his daddy, right? Like that, right? And it's like, ooh, the whole church know about it. Like
everybody know. Everybody ain't your daddy.
Girl, everybody know. And
your
then somebody gets
Bishop.
mad and they say it out loud, and then it's like throwing stilettos and It's just I was waiting for that. What I was shocked by though was the the wife pulling the knife out. I was like, oh, she done got real bold now.
Yup, and we will talk about that in a little bit for sure. I guess going from there, like Mike, what did you think about the whole funeral and the lack thereof mourning? I guess I should say.
It's showing the gangsterness of this show, bro. It's the gangsterness of Westeros, the Dragonstone, the world of like, bro. They're showing the gangster of it. It's like, listen, we can drop heirs, we can kill dynasties, we can have bastards. It doesn't matter. Incest, hey, you name it. Join the family. Like it just, like it's again,
Uncle,
like
they're just trying to help here. That's all they're trying to do.
like seriously, it just I first, like, again, it just we're gonna go through it, but like I have not felt this most tense of these scenes of these family dynamics. It's so relatable. I like taking things and looking this and how we can apply it to life and stuff, and you can just tell just how children, when in families, how they deal with the gossip of the adults and how that translates to children. That to me, I felt was very, very powerful, and I took that from seeing like these kids are just you're basically creating the very people you complain about within your own family. The cycle of generational curses, the cycle of generational trauma repeats itself.
Break that down, Mike. Look at that. That's right.
I be thinking.
That's right. You would think you experience some stuff too. We talk about that later. It's all right.
Yes.
No, but that does kind of bring up an interesting part, because if you kind of notice, all the kids throughout the funeral part, at least, they all were doing very unique and different things. Like you had some that were mourning, some that didn't know how to help those that were mourning, one that was just getting pissed drunk. So that is very interesting how you start, even from a funeral where you would think a funeral is a place where people will gather together. It basically, you start seeing all these lines getting divided and how people are, like where they stand. Yeah, go ahead, Ant.
And I was gonna say, and you're right about that, because you saw the bastard. It was I'm calling him bastard 'cause I don't know these kids' names. I know Aemon, the stole the dragon, and Daemon's daughters. I don't know any. So as we go by titles, the bastards. When he went over about Daemon's daughters and she grabbed his hand, he was actually shocked of the acknowledgement and the acceptance, or even the shared grief, because everybody else around him always treats him either with, you ever somebody's too nice because they want to bring something up, or they're like, I ain't getting attached to you. like, and again, we see that in families where families question the paternity of children brought in. They like, I ain't gonna get attached to you till I know you my grandbaby, type of thing like that. And so it's interesting to see the sisters do that, and the lack of care or the lack of affection shown among the different family members. And we're seeing the alliances. We're seeing the alliances form now. Just like Mike said, there are families that don't even know why they're mad at another side of the family, but they just grew up knowing that we don't mess with them, or we don't eat their cooking, or we don't do this. You know what I mean? So that was really cool way to show. Or even the gay uncle or daddy guy showed like, hey, go take care of your friend. Like, care about that boy. Gary was like, you know you're gay, right? That's what they did. So I was, yeah. I don't know. Somebody brought their own family experiences into this show. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, but I think this, and this kind of plays into like, the son. What did you guys think was gonna happen when he was sneaking through to approach the dragon? Because I'm not gonna lie, when that dragon kind of opened up its mouth, I was like, oh, he gone. I was like, there's gonna be a quick little death here. But what were your guys' thoughts throughout that scene? Because I mean, that dragon for sure had ill intent at the start. But what do you guys think about it? Mike, we'll start with you this time.
First of all, my first thought when he, the dragon sleeping, he tried, grab onto it. My first thought was dumbass, like, just he's sleeping, and the fact that he kept like the dragon's telling, I'm sleeping, like he just like kept looking at him, like, okay, you want to go? Then let's go. All right, hey, fasten your seatbelt. No, we don't have time for that. You gonna wake me up? I'm gonna go for a ride, like, and I felt at first I thought his arc again. I think it's tied to also he's part of his brother in terms of his narcissistic personality, but also just top of like that Targaryen like ego of like, hey, we run dragons, but I don't
Yeah.
have one. So that's the insecurity with himself. He's like, so what happened was when he got off the dragon, he was on a sugar rush. I was like, man, I just got the third biggest dragon in the books. I
Yep.
think speaking right on the third biggest dragon. Don't mess with me, you bastards. Like, but then he level headed at the end. It's like, hey, it doesn't matter. I got I lost mine, but I got a dragon. And that was just
Yeah.
something that I think because throughout his other previous episodes, it's like you felt some type of pity for him, right? Especially when the pig was presented to him and everything like that. So I think his reaction, especially to after he got off the dragon, was like, saying, "Listen, I just got everything I fought for, and now you guys, you want to take this moment away from me? No, especially when I'm a pure blood, right? So it just again, I loved it. I loved it just the dynamic because I understand he reacted emotionally, but then I get it. Right? I understand the daughter's like, you stole mama's dragon. Like, don't and then you have the brothers come in trying to defend. It's like, guys, sit bastards, get out of here. You ain't even get out of here. So I see that conversation. I see there's a lot in family dynamics with children, especially just like, my dad get this, whatever, but yeah, your dad this. Or hey, I know my daddy. Where's yours? Oh, like stuff like that. It's just that dynamic, and especially this. We rarely see children. I think in this aspect, I think in media, be displayed or to have displaying type of dysfunctional behavior with each other based off of just the environment that they're growing up in. Because this is realistic to me. Even the supernatural like dragons and everything, they still having more realistic interpersonal relationship problems. And I thought I gotta give props to this show because I was feeling it. But yeah.
Okay. How about you, Keaton? What did you think about that whole scene and how it all transpired?
Man, it's weird because like I was pulling for homie. Like when he walked up and I was like, okay, he about to get a dragon after everybody was roasting him for not having one and everything. I was like,
Haha, gross.
cool. But then like then he went and flexed. Like then I didn't like it no more because I was like, oh wow, now you talking shit. Like I don't know, you done code switch now that you got your dragon. Uh, it was pretty cool seeing it, just like the how it all went down. Like oh, you just walk up to a dragon and if they don't burn you, you get to ride them now. Like that's your ride now. Like that's how we get cars, like GTA 5 style. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But like the way that he reacted once he got that dragon, I was like, see, that's why everybody shouldn't have power.
And last but not least, how about you, Ann? What do you think about that?
So on one part, y'all gonna stop showing other people when I talk. I'm finding this. I know what y'all doing. I know we playing that Game of Thrones thing, and y'all the Ring of Powers people. Did they get in your way? Is that happening? I know what's going on. Anyway, no. So I love the fact that it showed again, what Mike said about how these children are acting, a lot of times people insult other people. They use whatever they're afraid of, or whatever hurts them, or whatever you see their value. So usually, when people spread an insult like you're stupid, they're usually afraid of somebody questioning their intelligence, or whatever it could be. So I like that his first insult was, well, why don't you ride a pig? That's best for you, because he finally got to use that against somebody else.
Yeah.
And so you see that hurt people, as they say, hurt other people. And so he's been taking all this abuse, and now he doesn't take it anymore, and he just can't wait to be the one that's dishing out the punishment because he thinks that's the safest place to be. And little do they know, they're making that's the recipe to make somebody that's capable of a lot of cruelty, because that's what that was allowed to do to him, and so he's learned that. Um, and it might seem petty for the little petty bullying, but that was his life. You know what I mean? If you're cruel to a child, that's all they know. If you're teasing, that's all they know. So it's not surprising he wants to act out on people he think are weaker and now beneath him, just so he's learned that. The thing that I'm most impressed of was the scene where he's walking up to that dragon, the way they shot this. And props to the animator. They have given this particular dragon so many facial expressions. Since
Yeah.
when he burned mom's last episode, he's like, what? I hear you right. Man, I don't want to. What? All right. And then this one, he was like, Who put me? Oh, all right, little ninja. All right, you go on. All right, you all right. It smell like family, but I ain't gonna mess with. What? Boy, leave me alone. You leave me alone. Ain't nobody watching. Ain't nobody watching. I can do that. And then he gained the respect for him. Because at first I think he was testing him, like he gonna fall off. Oh, you ain't fall off. All right, look at you, little homie. I've been around a long, long time. I think this dragon is actually the last dragon that's been around since the Conquering. I think I could be wrong about that, but or right after. I think this is the oldest dragon. So it's cool that he got it, and it's also the biggest of the ones being written right now. So he gonna do some damage. He gonna pay back all that pain and embarrassment he felt like 10 folds. Yeah. So I don't know. I like that whole scene, but the way it was shot sold it for me.
No, that's awesome. No, I think something that I kind of didn't hear anybody say, which for me was the thing that stood out the most. The other brothers were basically like given their dragons, and it's almost like he had to earn it. So it's almost like when you have someone who like has a fast sports car and all this, like mommy and daddy's money, but you got someone who like builds their car. They just have a different type of respect to them, and they view things very differently. So I completely kind of understood how, like, after he wrote it and all that and like conquered it, it's, he basically went from like a hoopty to like a Lamborghini, but the thing that I found interesting was he had to learn, obviously like with the pig and all that bullying, he understood how to control these dragons and how to talk to them and how to like, talk to them with confidence. And even though he wasn't sure if he had it, he earned the respect to get it. And I thought that was a part that, was very interesting. But I do agree. It's like once he came down and, he was all on his high, I thought it was neat when that, gang warfare 4-on-1 happened. And he stood his ground for a little bit. I mean, I will give him credit, but once that blade came out and once he called someone a bastard, I was like, yeah, it was over there.
I ain't giving him credit. That was an older cousin beating up the other little cousins and the female cousin. Yeah, I think he closed fist punched his one female cousin.
Oh no, both of them. They gave him that Falcon punch.
And let's not like I think all those kids had their own. Nobody's innocent in that little play, but he picked up a rock. like once you pick up that rock, look, we've all seen cousin fights, we've all seen sibling fights. Once you pick up a weapon, that whole tone changes.
Oh yeah, straight Cain. It goes. That's the Cain and Abel point right there.
Yeah, I will say it was unique seeing how the two brothers here kind of worked together. Like when the one was on the ground and he ended up throwing up the sand to his face, and then the other one ended up slashing him. Like it just kind of goes to show how in sync. Yeah, it's like how in sync these guys are. Which those definitely.
Oh, sorry. I keep interrupting you.
No. But I think it almost you start seeing kind of. Everyone talks about like these house divideds, but you kind of start seeing like when the kids started lining a certain way, kind of like they're setting themselves for the next generation. And I think right now, how many years have passed? Because they keep doing all these time jumps. So it's been what, probably like 20 years or so right now?
No, it's 10 years, and then we got the future. And then
you had the kid, and then now the oldest kid is 15 or 16, right?
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe it's been like 15.
It could be closer to, let's just say around 20 years, but it's kind of neat kind of seeing how you're starting to see all this division within, which I find great. Now, obviously the scenes or the part that I thought took this show was kind of like that dining room scene where everyone's like, oh my God, what happened? He took my eye. And you got the queen going all irate. Everyone's kind of doing their thing. What were your guys' thoughts during that scene? Because you almost literally have these cluster of groups just all bad-mouthing each other in a sense. And then obviously the king has to come out and, basically force everyone to hug and make out or make up. But yeah, like what did you guys think about all that? Keaton, we'll start with you. We haven't started
okay.
with you yet.
Man, so I'm not gonna lie. I was like forgetting to breathe while I was watching that because I was just like, man, what is about to go down right? I ain't gonna lie. I thought she was about to stab the king. She was, she was so mad, and like the fact that it all came out in the open, it was like everybody was like, look, I'm gonna be quiet because this king, he might just kill us. Like he might just do it because he already tired. He old. His hair gone.
Yeah.
He just want to be in his building playing with his Legos, and they sitting here just got nothing but beef, and it was tense. It was tense, and I didn't know how that was gonna go. But when I walked away from it, it was one of those things like, oh no, this beef ain't going nowhere. This beef ain't going nowhere. Like somebody dying. Like this gonna end bad. Ain't gonna like this was the no peace part of Independence Day. It's like, oh nope, nope, we not gonna be friends. And then it was, I'm I'm hype. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hype. I wanted that. I wanted that.
Yeah. How about you, Ann? What do you think about that whole scene?
So I want the same thing. This is like when you see two fighters and you really believe they hate each other. Like even if it's just for the cameras, but you believe they hate each other, and you're like, yeah. Who gonna back up all this talk y'all been going through? Because once, and again, as a parent, what I don't like. We all know our kids can be jerks at some point in time, right? Like we all know it. But once but we could a bloody nose. All right, hey, what happened? What was going on? Maybe a broken arm, but you maim like a permanent maim. No, like you ain't getting over that. Like even if you're not getting there is no mending. We're not gonna sit at Thanksgiving dinner and I'm gonna look across you with one eye. like, um, and then again, so you're heightened. I don't know if I would go so far as I want one of their eyes, but I'll be nice so you can choose what you want. like that was crazy. But this was award. This was award winning television right here. This is
Yes.
you know,
Emmys
yeah.
past the collection plate.
If this show for any other reason had to justify the legacy and of what it was coming from the early season of Game of Thrones, this scene is what I would show people. Even without the context, I think you would still get the tension in the room.
Yeah.
And he also showed that his ineffectiveness as king has got to a point where there is no solution at this point. Like there's nothing. I mean, even you could put anybody in his place right now. The divides are there. You know what I mean? And trying to save
Yeah.
your family is a moot point at this point. You got to make some hard decisions, and he's not the person to make them. And I think that you saw everybody playing their games and moving their pieces in a really strategic way. Letting herself get cut was really smart. Damon interfering with Sir Chris
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
aid. And even Sir Chris to take a note, like, you know what, if this is some private, I'd gladly cut up that bastard's eye, but this is in public, my queen. We got we gotta do that. So and another thing is those siblings, the two daughters, Damon's two daughters, and the two bastards, they're gonna be close because
Thank you.
fought together,
Yes.
they bled together, and they took an eye together. They're family. Unless they
Yeah.
want to bring up some kind of What's going to be interesting is how the other side plays because you don't get that from the Greens. The Green Sons, you don't really get that there's
Yeah.
that bond going or they had any kind of healthy environment. So I'm very interested in how these dynamics play out as if we see them get older, if they do another time skip, whatever. I'm curious how that leads. There's so much I could go on for like another 30 minutes with different things. So I'm gonna shut up now. But it was a great scene.
Awesome. How about you, Mike? What you think about
Almost as good as Mike's beard.
Oh, thank you. You know it. I've been putting that work. But listen, one thing I said the moment I saw everybody come in the room, I was like, like I was ready to get it. Like I was ready for the moment to happen. I was just like, let's go. And I was just like, the whole thing of like, first of all, you have dynamics of mama protecting her children, right? We everybody, we seeing that, but then also, you seeing the grandfather of Viserys is like, look what I've done. Like the oldest person in the room just looked like, hey, I created all this, and it's like, y'all, listen, at this point, if I hear anything, I'm cutting your tongue out. My sons too. you know. I mean, and we know the elder folks, like we get it, like, yeah, he means it, you know. And I'm like, but again, it was also just like it was like the dynamic too of like, okay, kids like, no, mommy, he told me this. No, mom, it was this. He would told me to do this, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, when getting ready to fight, and people started scruffling. Then all of a sudden, you see Damon. Just Damon's in the back, and all of a sudden you see homeboy pulling. Like, no, what you're not gonna do? Let me stop you.
Yeah.
I just it was so quick, and I was like, yo, I didn't know what he like. At first, I thought he got stabbed. I don't know, was it just me? Or like,
it seemed like he stabbed the guard coming like over that way. It did look like that.
The chainmail. That was all it was. It's just like you just hear the, but it's just like he just like someone just can't. The contact was like, oh shoot. But yeah, again, but also it talks about the genuineness of like they were trying to have like children protecting mama, right? Saying I can't tell mom. I know because I know she's gonna get my butt if I do. I'm gonna get loose. I'm gonna go blind. I'm gonna be blind. I'll be shoot. Might as well be with the Ravens. Going this like this. But then with Aegon, what he did, even though what you want to say he lied or did it, is also talking about children intuition too. Because children are not dumb. It's like, Dad, we all know. Yeah. Everybody, like, I'm going with this, but like it was the moment. It's just like that moment. He's like, everyone knows, right? Yeah. And the children. I also give it to scenes like, children being observed. Like, we're not dumb. We see what's going on here. Auntie or our sister Rhaenyra saying she's going for a walk. No, she wasn't alone. She wasn't happy with Jesus alone. Come on, like.
Aemon, that also showed Aemon's awareness versus his brothers, because Aemon was like, I'm not gonna throw mama to the bus. I'm gonna toss it to you, bro. You gonna get
like, yeah.
And he was like, everybody know. He almost acted like like not even spoiled, like when you ask a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or something like that, and they just tell you every blatant truth, like there's no. So that's what and that showed how, to me, ineffective that older brother's gonna be. Like,
bingo.
Yeah, and yeah, and also I forget which one of y'all said it. If I wasn't family, if I was a guard in that room, I'd have asked me excuse, because he might kill all of us except for the family. Like, I don't know.
You saw how what was her name? The queen was like, "No, you're sworn to me as your protector. Thank you."
Yeah, don't y'all doing that, man. Y'all the only ones that the king might not cut out a tongue, but the rest of us, nah. Yeah, that's great. And I hate the hand. I hate the fact that he's hand again. I hope he gets one of the worst deaths in Game of Thrones history, because this is what people who think that a system will survive their treachery and they don't understand that every system, every government, is very fragile. And he just loving he's like, yeah, I sowed all this chaos. Yeah, we're gonna win this. So it's gonna be all right, and we'll restore it after we're in power. Screw that, man.
But then we got the big part, obviously, going into it also with Rhaenyra and Daemon, with that whole situation now finally come to fruition. I need you, Uncle.
Yeah. Ugh. I know. Well, I think the interesting part, and I think, Ant, you kind of touched on this a little bit. You basically are having 4 kids who are going to be super united, and then over on the green side, it's going to be such an interesting dynamic, because now the youngest one, who everyone was giving him crap the whole time, it's basically just like, boom, I got a dragon now, y'all. And not just any dragon, like a big boy dragon. So I think it's going to almost be destroying there, because the young one was, if in all reality, he's the one who stopped that whole scene. Because he basically he looked at his mom and he was like, this price was perfect. No. He's like, we good. I lost an eye, but I got a dragon.
I got the key.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, so I think that sets up a really neat dynamic. But what are your guys' thought on, this magical marriage of that we now have?
Listen,
Okay.
Come on,
what
man. Like,
Oh, no, go ahead.
what? So listen, like, okay, well, what do you call the blood transfusion like things when you cross things like happen like the type of disease where it's like you're transferring blood with each
man,
other,
there's a lot of things you can catch with other people's blood.
Yeah, I'm like, this some trailer like park mess. I'm like, this is just like, and it just get it, all of it. Like they cutting the lips, they getting the drinking the blood, all this stuff. I'm like, nah, man. And it's like, yeah, cousins are gonna be very close now. Now the union, now they're fully our brother and sisters. Like at this
Yeah.
point, you know. So the union, these four, yeah, because now we're family now, right?
Yep.
But it's like the sister, like the sister was not even the ground floor. They or she was in the sea, right? It was a sea. Yeah, she put her in the
Yeah.
water. But yeah, just now put her in the sea for for a day. And then again, it's just like much as like Damon's character is so drawn because like at first, he's the anchor of the show. Then then also like 10 years ago, he kind of almost like people forget about him, but he's still the one of the most dangerous folks. Still got a plan,
Mm.
And Rhaenyra again is still acting on impulse and stuff. He's just like I saw a new side of her. Obviously, we get to the end of the episode, but again, just like I mean, her intentions here. It's like I thought she's like, listen, I've been through all this, folks. How these bastard children, but you were mine. You were my first, love, right?
Yeah.
So
I
I
was
thought
almost
that,
your first love.
but yeah, no, but it, I don't know what the implications of this. I'm like, can Pops even allow this?
Well,
Like,
it's nothing new in the
Yeah.
Targaryen family.
right.
Yeah.
But knowing where it started before, he's like, he remember he said like he banished him off or whatever off out of that situation, and then he's like, and even though the first like marry her to me, whatever, and then he went away and married somebody else, but now he's like, it's been 10 years, bro. Go ahead, bro. I'm like,
Especially if you think he already deflowered or whatever, and it does make her claim stronger since he was the other heir.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, allegedly. I didn't think if y'all watched Ring of Power last week, there was a line like give it to me raw." Like I thought I'd never hear another line, and that was gonna give me more. But it says, "I need you, Uncle," took it a whole different connotation than I thought in this show. I think weirdly enough, Damon is kind of the most moral person in this show. He's the most honest about what he. I mean, who's more moral? Who's more moral? Because I mean, he's honest about what everybody else has this mask on, even to themselves, about what they're willing to do for this power, what they want for their goals, what they're willing to give up, what they're willing to sacrifice. Damon has called all of this from the beginning. He called everything that was happening, and he's all right with the type of monster he is, but he also has limits and codes. Like he's like, hey, I spared you because I was gonna ruin your life. Like this Uncle D was gonna ruin your life. So so I let you go. I let you go. He's even questioning it. But we have to kill this man. Like he's doing things. He's honest about what he does, and he knows what if they want to win the Game of Thrones, morality has to take a different shift.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a good guy because there are no good guys in this show, but weirdly enough, he seems to be more moral or at least more honest than everybody else in the show.
All right. Well, how about you, Keaton? What do you think about that whole marriage?
I just I kind of saw it coming. Like I never read the book or anything, but I saw it coming after a while. Like as soon as that second wife died, I was like, oh man, that's going they gonna come back around to that. And I don't like it, but it's definitely the smartest move to make at this point with the high towers and that whole squad rising up against them. Like if you want somebody in your corner, you definitely want him because he is an absolute wild card maniac. Like he gonna get stuff done, and it's gonna be ugly, but it'll get done. But yeah, it's weird. It's so weird to me, but you get used to it in Game of Thrones, but it's still weird even after you get used to it.
No, and that's and then I think with that, I think it just kind of ends with that final interesting scene. I'll just say interesting, where you kind of have like the Houdini act of who killed who type of situation. How do you guys think that's all going to play out? Because do you think that's going to come around and bite them, later on some type of treachery? Or do you think this dude is just pieced out, going to just play it out in a different island? Ooh, everyone's just saying peace out on this one.
Nope.
Look,
I think my man knows. I think he knows. He's like, I see how y'all gonna do the black folks on this show. He was like, which scream movie was it where the cameraman was like, oh nah, I heard what happened to your last cameraman, and he just dips out and does not show up again to the very end. He's like, yeah, see, that's how you live. Like that. I think
Run.
I think he's like me
Listen.
and my man. We gonna go over here and we gonna be happy and gay together. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna survive. I think he's out. I think he's
Yeah.
out.
If he's smart, and I think Rhaenyra had a good conversation with him, like almost like the Ned Stark serious conversation. You're a good man, Lord Stark. He's like, yeah, you're a good, honest. That's rare, man. You ain't built for this Game of Thrones stuff, man. You need to
Yeah.
take the
Yeah.
boyfriend, take a boatload of gold, and just go cut your locks, live your life. Live your life. Oh, but my parents are gonna think I'm dead. Let's be honest. You're probably gonna die soon anyway.
Would you rather them think it, or would you rather them be right?
Right. You that could be an opinion or it could be a fact. That's all it can be. And so we was like, you know what? You right. Come on, booty.
Yeah, he did the math.
I don't need these locks. We good.
We good.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
none of these my kids anyway. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not bound here anyway.
right?
Right.
I like.
You played
That
2 times on your birthday.
Listen,
That was it.
I have never felt so like I was pissed. I was like, it took me a range of emotion. I was getting pissed off with Game of Thrones. Like, this is close to where we got black people. Like, we got all different shades of melanin and in there, and yet we get burned alive. Okay, we get our dragons stolen from us. Our black women being burnt, and then heck, they're wearing these terrible ass wigs, and all of a sudden, and now guess what? The dude was like, you know what? Screw this wig. I'm going. Nah, I'm gonna be fine.
He got rid of the wig.
He took your advice.
He got rid of the wig. He was
That's all he did. That's all he did. So he was
You're like,
favoring.
screw this. I'm taking his license from him. It's burned.
Look,
You want
he
the
was
dragon though?
favoring-
Keep the dragon. Keep that wig. Keep them kids don't look nothing like me. They came out with an 830 credit score. What can we say?
Look, that episode ended with him favoring Grey Worm. I was like, don't let me find out.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that piece of history. Like, what's the name? I always like being called Lord Grey Worm.
Now, all right. So with this, I mean, we are coming up on that 40-minute mark. So I guess final thoughts on this episode as a whole. Where does everyone stand? So far in the season, and what are your guys' thoughts for what's to come next? So, Mike, we'll start with you, man.
I think we might get more children. At least one more. That's actually legitimate Targaryen blood. Because I think that's the guy. They gotta find one legitimate Targaryen that's gonna go up against the two, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, kids and stuff like that. Because one, Aegon is a drunk and he's kind of drunk with power. And then what's the younger one with name?
I don't know kids' names.
Aemon.
Anyways, number
Aemon.
two, So number two, he basically again, he power hungry, but also he has a lot of insecurities and stuff, trying to prove himself. But then that's gonna lead to his demise. Just like with this losing his eye, he can lose his life because trying to prove something. Um, but then but again, I'm waiting for Viserys. I don't know how long this disease or anything going down, but I'm just everybody's waiting him, waiting him.
Everybody. He
It's
keep
like,
looking rougher and
sir,
rougher
it's
every
time.
episode.
That is true. So how would you you rate this episode so far within the season?
It's my favorite.
Favorite?
My favorite.
Okay, I
Period.
like that. I like that. Keaton, how about yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely been my favorite episode because I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. Because the thing is, I agree, there's gonna have to be some more kids because I'm not gonna lie. I think all of the bastard kids, I don't think any of them gonna make it out because they don't know.
Hmm.
I don't because the what we know about Game of Thrones is the Targaryen bloodline. Whenever it does get to Daenerys, it's intact. It's
It's pure.
completely, it's pure, it's intact. And so I think that she's definitely going to have some kids with Daemon. They might have already made one on that beach. Um, I think that they're going to get washed. And because, I mean, ain't no dragons in like 150 years from now, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to go down. I think this going to be a bloodbath. Everybody going to die.
So
Everybody going to die.
the anticipation of this dragon on dragon warfare with these kids, not even the adults really, but these kids,
Yeah.
that's up there with the Battle of Bastards anticipation, with Clegane Bowl anticipation. Like this is crazy. And I think that we know the girl's mom could ride. Like she rode better than Damon.
Mm.
And so like I'm sure she took him up with them every once in a while. So, but yeah, I don't think those boys make it. I don't think both those girls make it. I don't think that the older Eamon's older brother, the one that was in his cups the whole time during this thing, I don't
Yeah.
think he makes it. So it's going to be cool. I'm picturing these dragon battles, these aerial battles, because the way they're giving all these dragons this unique shape and these unique like attributes, we're gonna see that. And what is the strategy you're gonna use to take out the biggest dragon on the field? Because you know that's gonna be
Yeah.
he's gonna murk a couple dragons. You know that big one gonna murk a couple dragons.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
I'll be good. I will say I think my only complaint about this episode was how dark it was. In terms of lighting. Oh, you guys not hearing me?
I think it's Jorge. I think it's your mic.
Yeah, something going on with some static.
There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
Now it's
Yeah,
getting worse.
it's getting worse.
My virus is starting to take effect. Now the show is mine. Anyway, I'm always plotting.
No,
Now this
with a
is
knife
mine.
in the back. With the
No,
Valerian knife, just like yes, a Valerian cuts clean.
clean, so clean. So to wrap up, if we had to give this, I think this is all our favorite episode of this season so far. I think that for me, the time skips were kind of jarring, but it's paying off. No matter how rough that be getting, those time skips were, it's paying off now. To me, I'd give this an A+ for an episode. I don't know about y'all. Keaton?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was good. They did a good job building the tension for these past 6 to 7 episodes just for that level of payoff. So I was happy with it. I think it was the best episode of the season by far so far.
Mike, what do you think? Great. How would you give this episode a grade? Mike's gone. Mr. No Mike don't have a vote. So, so,
Like, speaking through it.
so what do you think? A or well, are you with this A+?
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Mike?
Well, Mike's not answering. He's texting.
Okay, and yeah, for me, yeah, this is an A+. I think the only thing Like I was saying before, that I wasn't a fan of was just in the beginning how dark the episode was shot. Definitely made me like, I felt like I was like this close to the screen, just trying to see what was actually happening. But other than that, no, I think this was by far the best episode that we've gotten. And it does make up for all the time skips that we had for sure.
All right. Well, since Mike's not answering, I think that wraps this up. Mike, did you want to give a grade for this show?
Great. I give it 10 out of 10. I give it 10 out of 10. Like I said, Black Lives Matter. Again, I just like I was going over. I was about to say F this show. I was gonna swear. I was gonna cuss. I was just like F this show. Then at the end, they pulled the 1-2 and everything. I was like, Ninja, we made it.
Showed a black man abandoned his family. That's not something cool.
I know, right? He's a real. Oh, he's a real black father.
No, people, it's unanimous. We love this episode. I hope
Y'all
you love
wild
it too.
for that.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
Y'all way out of pocket.
They did it. They did it.
No, you co-sign. Don't try to throw me under the bus. We're on the Black Lives Matter, so that's solidarity. No, so please join us again. Join us in the comment section. Tell us if you like this episode too. What grade you gave it? What did you like? Do you think this lives up to the Game of Thrones legacy? If not, hope you join us here next week for JVS presents season 1, episode 8.
Okay.
House of the Dragon. And then go over to the JVS and check out Rings of Power. Let them know how better this podcast version is, this branch of the podcast is.
House divided.
Because we at war. We at war, baby. We at war. Bring it. We saw how that works. Who want to lose an eye? All right, we out.
Filing out the top of the
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh Lord.